And sometimes I forget, oh, hey, that big sign means that there's a really hard turn coming up that I need to be hitting my brakes for.
Playing guitar, driving cars, they're different skills. Welcome back to Cartridge Based Radio. I'm Donald, and once again, joined by Brad.
Hello.
Brad, we are still in the fall of 97.
We sure are.
It seems eternal.
That would be one way of looking at it.
Eternal joy.
Obviously, yes. You know, there's been a lot of good games that we've talked about so far. And this week we've got a really special one. It's probably one of the more unique games to ever come out for the PlayStation or really any system.
I don't know how this game got released. Like, in this day and age, you could not get Parappa the Rapper released. Because you would have to pitch this to a board full of people who are just thinking of how much Call of Duty can we make this game and how much DLC can we sell for this game.
Yeah.
Parappa the Rapper is a weird-ass game.
I mean, I'll tell you how you sell it to, you know, a board of directors or, you know, whoever you got to get an approval committee, I guess. Is you sit them all down around a table and you just say, all right, we're here, just sitting in the car. I want you to show me that you can get far. And then they'll all start repeating it.
You want to tell us about Parappa the Rapper?
Yeah, Parappa the Rapper was released in the U.S. in September 1997. It had been out in Japan for some time earlier than that. And it was kind of the darling of, like, magazines that were kind of tuned into the Japanese scene and import games and stuff. And the thing that you kept hearing about it is, man, I wish this game would come out here, but it's just too weird. This game will never be released in the U.S. And at some point, Sony just said, hold my beer.
and they did it.
Yeah, but this is a game about a rapping dog and his flower girlfriend that he's trying to impress by learning karate from an onion and getting his license from a police officer, Moose.
Now, is it his girlfriend, or is he trying to exit the friend zone?
Yeah, I guess this is a girl that he likes. Right now they're friends, and there's a different kind of rival for her affections who looks exactly like Underdog from the cartoons, but is apparently named Joe Chin. And he is everything that Parappa isn't. He can drive a car, he can fight, he knows how to use the restroom, he doesn't feel compelled to rap constantly. You know, it's just like everything bad about Parappa, Joe Chin is good at.
All right, so I have a big question here, Brad, about Parappa the Rapper that we must uncover. I have never done recreational drugs in my life.
Okay.
If someone has never done recreational drugs in their life, is Parappa Rapper a good way to say, this is what it's like to do a giant pile of drugs? Just play Parappa the Rapper, you're good.
It would be hard to do a controlled experiment for this. I guess you'd have to have somebody who never used drugs, and then have them play the game. And then later on, after that's kind of out of their system, have them use recreational drugs, and then ask them, was that similar to Parappa the Rapper? So we did not do that. I also have not used drugs much. After they legalized pot in Washington, I tried it, and all I did was, like, go to sleep for, like, 16 straight hours. So in my experience, playing Parappa is nothing like using recreational drugs, but my experience is maybe atypical.
Yeah, I doubt we can get some funding to test is a 20-year-old game like doing drugs. But on its own merits, let's try to figure out if Parappa is like the most psychedelic drug ever. It starts out in a movie theater where you're watching a movie, a really bad CG movie, about a little girl with, I hate to say, a Ku Klux Klan hat on, but it's kind of what it is. And she rescues a baby, and they're like, wow, this movie's amazing.
They're watching Birth of a Nation. Like this group of high school students in the 90s is just like, let's watch like a movie where a Klansman like rescues a baby. It's amazing.
So after they get out of the movie, they decide to go eat. And this is where you meet the villain of the game, who shows up twice and effectively does nothing other than he hits on the flower girl. And then Joe Chin shows up from the bathroom, proving that later on he does know how to use the bathroom, whereas Parappa later on proves that he has trouble knowing how to use the bathroom, which results in Parappa wants to learn how to do karate.
Yeah. Every level in the game is kind of centered around, like, Parappa trying to learn some skill that he currently does not have in his quest to be a more eligible bachelor, I guess you could say.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who played video games in the fall of 97 who can actually quote you almost word for word the very first rap in this game. The dojo rap. You say Parappa the Rapper to someone who was playing these games in that era, they know the dojo rap. Beyond that, they're like, I don't know what's beyond that because this game is impossible. By today's standards, as far as rhythm games go, Parappa the Rapper, its note highway, whatever you want to call it, seems ancient. It doesn't make sense because when they do the little rap, it doesn't go to the end of the bar before it starts you rapping. So if you're trying to count in fours before you start, I'm sorry, that's not how music works in Parappa's world, because you rapping good. Which really bugs me, the fact that they used the letter U and spelled rapping wrong, and then didn't do like G-U-D. If you're gonna go in all the way.
I was kind of bummed that the highest ranking you can get is you rapping cool, and it wasn't something like fly or fresh or fat.
They say fat in this game a lot.
Yeah, they do.
The bear, he thinks everything is fat, and all he does is like rub food on his face throughout the entire game. He has trouble getting it in his mouth. He's just rubbing it on his face. He seems to be the one in the group that they're like, we've been friends with him since like grade school and no one likes him, so I guess he'll come around with us. And you have the girl.
Yeah, who's a flower.
Sunny.
There's another girl who's a...
cat-like.
Yeah, I think.
And then a bear friend. So
yeah.
Parappa is trying to date Sunny, which, another big question, genetically compatible, dog and flower.
They're not even the same kingdom in, like, zoological classifications. Like, the highest level is kingdom, and, like, one's a plant, and one's an animal, and those are as different as you can be.
After you get done rapping about Kung Fu, you don't really ever use your Kung Fu at any point. So you learned Kung Fu for no reason other than you saw some bullies and you thought, I'll pick up some Kung Fu. I'll take a lesson and I know Kung Fu. And then Joe Chin shows up in the Stretch Limo 900 that apparently can go faster than 400,000 miles an hour, which is unsafe, or that bear's an idiot.
It's almost certainly that the bear who can't figure out how to put food in his mouth is an idiot.
So Parappa decides he needs to learn how to drive. And what better place to learn how to drive than from a rapping cop moose who doesn't know to shut her door before the car starts moving?
Yeah, that's kind of an alarming sign when your driving instructor is just like, you're driving around the door wide open. And you get like halfway down the street before she's like, do you know why I stopped the car?
And he's like, no, I don't know why you stopped the car. She should have failed him right there, like, you fail because you're stupid. Not because I left the door open.
Well, you're the instructor. I assumed it was okay.
So after you get your driver's license, the second time she stops you, instead of saying, my door is open, idiot, she says, stop the car because you got your license. And I don't think you're awarded your license by slamming on your brake in the middle of the street. Like, maybe pull over to a parking lot where you're not going to cause an accident. The first thing Parappa does after getting his license is commit Grand Theft Auto. His dad's like, no, come back with my car. And Parappa's like, later.
And just like the game Grand Theft Auto, like, he wrecks that car within about 4 minutes.
Because he's dreaming of kissing Sunny Flower. So, typical teen.
Yes.
Although Parappa does not look like a teen. I think he's like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but that would make him 42.
Oh, fair. This leads into one of the most disturbing moments in Parappa the Rapper.
Okay.
After he wrecks the car, he says, oh no, my dad's gonna bite me.
That's the name of the level.
Yeah, but Parappa says my dad's gonna bite me. Should we call CPS? He's like, my car, and just starts like chewing on Parappa's head. How do you wrap your way out of that one?
I've never bred dogs, but I don't think like dog parents like discipline puppies by biting them.
If the male dog decides to attack one of the litter, I'm fairly certain, because in most Animal Kingdom situations, the female will come along and pretty much destroy the male for doing that. So Parappa shouldn't be worried.
The car wreck, though, leads us to the third level, which, you know, for as weird and strange as this game is, that third level is pretty much the most accurate depiction of a flea market that I've ever seen in a video game.
That third level is also a song that has stuck with me for 20 years. Literally, he's like, money, money, money is all you need.
He's a rapping frog with a thick, fake Jamaican accent.
Pretty much everyone in that genre of music, the last thing on their mind is capitalism. But this frog is just all in. So is he faking just to be like put on a show to get people to come to his flea market?
Maybe it's a little ahead of his time, because like hip hop kind of shifted like early 2000s, where the songs were about material goods and, you know, like I have a Benz or a black Amex card, you know, diamonds or whatever. You know, and Parappa kind of preceded that. So, you know, this flea market vendor was maybe ahead of the game, where, you know, it's like the 90s and like everybody else is rapping about like social issues or like gang warfare. And he's just like, I'm just going to rap about like how much money I have.
So he says some weird things in this song. I've been working here since my mama was a baby.
You know, a little artistic exaggeration, I think.
He also claims he's the ruler of the 7 seas.
The number one ruler of the 7 seas.
He is the number one ruler of the 7 seas. He says, I made a lot of bucks, now I'm on the run. So the accent may be fake, his look may be fake. This guy might have broke bad and stole from the mob, and he's just hiding out in a flea market trying to wash the money.
I don't know if you frequent flea markets or not. I used to before I moved out west. We had a pretty good one back in Buffalo. And I guarantee you, like, everything at the flea market is stolen from somewhere. Like, it's just like everybody coming together to like collectively sell all their stolen property or like worthless junk that they found in their attic. But I mean, really, like, this is as accurate of a portrayal of the flea market as I've ever seen. Not even just in games, like just in media. Like, this is like kind of a shady looking dude with probably a fake identity, like selling you random junk that was probably stolen from somewhere. And like, the sales make no sense. Like, you buy a bike pump and you get a free truck, like a toy truck, and it's just, why? Because it almost rhymes?
Here's the thing that makes me believe he's actually filthy rich and he's hiding it. Parappa goes there because he just totaled his dad's car. And I mean, when we say total, he blew the tires off, the doors are laying on the ground, the shell has completely disintegrated, and they're just sitting in the 4 seats on the road in front of the truck they hit. And after he works at the flea market for approximately 12 minutes, he's driving away a car from a dealership. So the frog gave him like $52,000 to buy a new car and was like, yo, Parappa, don't tell him where you got it. And he's like, oh, okay, money, money, money is all you need. After you talk to the scam artist flea market frog, you find out it's Sunny's birthday. And I don't know if any time has taken place between these events. Like, is this many months later? Is it just this, hey guys, we watched a bad movie about the Klan, we went for a drive, and now it's Sunny's birthday, and it's Parappa's job to get the cake. And surprise, surprise, Parappa screws up. Because Joe Chin bought a better cake.
Joe Chin has the kind of cake that, like, only I would buy. It is a skyscraper. You can't even see the top of it. Like, he's just holding it, and it goes up into space. And, like, I'm like, hey, that's my dinner. But, like, a normal person would be like, that's a stupid amount of cake. Like, that's gonna go bad. You wasted a lot of money and effort on that.
Joe Chin accidentally makes Parappa spill his cake, and Parappa doesn't know what to do, so you rap with a chicken, a baking chicken on TV. And this rap has one of the funniest lines in the game. She says, "Now wait, here I have a sample." And when you rap, Parappa goes, "Oh wait, I don't have a sample." It's like, that's actually pretty good. Like, Parappa is aware that he kind of sucks.
We talk about, like, the moose cop driving instructor and the rapping dog and the flower girlfriend, but, like, the bullies at the beginning of the game are humans. So humans exist in this universe. And I'm just thinking, like, me as a human, if I turned on the TV and, like, there was a cooking show with a rapping chicken that told you how to make cakes, I am definitely watching that show. No doubt about it.
Now, that whole scene starts out pretty dark because the chicken, the first thing it does is like, now crack the eggs, and cracks some eggs and puts them into a bowl. She is literally putting unborn chicken babies in a bowl and whisking them. And she seems pretty alright with what she just did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she's got a little rhyme about it and everything.
The chicken is a monster.
Yeah, I have to admit, on further thought, the idea of a chicken hosting a baking show does seem like it might have some moral issues.
So you make a seafood cake. Okay, pro tip to our single listeners. If you want to get a girl, don't make her a cake with seafood in it, because that is super disgusting. But it actually leads to Parappa learning a valuable lesson. When you eat a lot of seafood and chocolate cake, it results in some gastrointestinal distress. He eats half this cake at the birthday party, and then the cat takes the idiot bear away so Sunny and Parappa can hang out, because, you know, she's trying to do some matchmaking, you know, putting the work in for her friend Parappa, and Parappa discovers he needs to poop. I assume he needs to poop. The amount of times they show his stomach and the sound effect goes, he's got to poop, and his distress of his stomach area makes him look angry. And Sunny's like, oh wow, Parappa's hot.
Sunny might have some issues.
Well, she's a sentient flower. I think she has some issues. Oh, sentient flower reminds me, when he goes to pick up Sunny, he hands her a flower. It's like, hey, I picked one of your family members out of this flower bed. Here's her corpse. And the dad's like, meh, he seems pretty okay. You think a flower person who's dressed in military garb would just snap the stupid dog's neck right there.
Well, you know, the problem with him trying to beat up Parappa is he's a flower.
Yes, but he's a highly decorated flower in what looked like the U.S. Army.
The flower military.
So you have to, which I believe this might be one of the most frustrating missions in the entire game.
This is where I got stuck.
Well, I think this is where most people, their time with Parappa the Rapper ends. You have to wrap your way through the line to get to the restroom. It's a little weird near the end, but you basically go through the Onion Karate Master, the Moose Car Driver, the Flea Market Frog, then the TV Host Chicken. But the TV Host Chicken is standing next to an empty restroom. By the time you wrap through the Moose and the Onion, the Chicken and the Frog could have gotten through that bathroom, and that mission would have been half of its annoying self. But this is where they start just throwing out double lines of rap at you, and it's not easy stuff either. It's crazy. And then you go potty. Parappa sits on the toilet and he says, this is the life. So apparently the life for Parappa is pooping.
In a public restroom at a gas station.
And then after he's like relieved himself, Sunny is like, he's back to the normal Parappa. He's not the edgy Parappa anymore with fire in his eyes.
He's not constipated Parappa.
Yeah, so she likes her guys in severe bathroom distress, which may speak to Sunny a little bit, how she's not I don't know if there's any character in this game who's like super great. The cat seems okay. She doesn't do anything where the bear, he's still an idiot. So I guess at this point, Parappa and Sunny are dating.
Maybe
they go to the club together. And this is where you have the final song.
Yeah.
And it's not really a rap. You're singing. Like, you do all this rapping up to this point, and then you have a sing-songy song.
You know, up to that point, when you go through these stages, the character, you know, the onion or the flea market frog or whatever, will, you know, do the line for you, and then you repeat the line back. And depending on how well you time up your button presses, you do better or worse. But even if you're really nailing it, like, what's coming out of Parappa's mouth sounds terrible. Like, Parappa is not a good rapper. And it might be that by the final stage, they're just like, you know what? You're actually like on a stage performing a concert. You can't do terrible rapping. That needs to end. Like, we've heard you try to do the karate rap and it's terrible. Just go out there and sing.
So you have a theory about Parappa the Rapper and his rapping roots. Would you like to share with the class?
Like I said, throughout the game, like, Parappa never sounds like he's actually like rapping well. A lot of words get cut off. A lot of it sounds kind of off key. He'll be making a statement, but he'll phrase it like it's a question, that kind of thing. And then to get like the really highest ranking, the you rapping cool, you actually have to freestyle, which I could never do in the game, but watching videos of it seems to be like just repeating the same word like as many times as you can. So like a line that's like crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl becomes like crack, 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 crack the egg, bowl, bowl, bowl. And, like, that gets you a higher ranking. So Parappa really just sucks at rapping. I kind of think that this game should be called Parappa the Poser, because, like, everybody has at least that one kid in school that, like, is, like, super into hip-hop and, like, is always trying to rap, and he sucks at it, and he doesn't actually, like, understand hip-hop culture at all. Like, all the music acts that he knows are just, like, the most, like, popular ones, and, you know, he doesn't really get it, but he won't shut up about hip-hop, and he won't stop trying to rap all the time, even though he's terrible. And I think that's Parappa. Parappa's that guy that won't stop trying to rap even though he sucks at it.
I don't know why all these people keep encouraging him if that's the case. Are they, like, having fun doing this? Like, well, let's make Parappa embarrass himself in front of Sunny.
Maybe that's why the cat, like, sets you up together in the car. She's just like, oh, Parappa just, like, ate all that diarrhea cake. And then on top of that, like, I know he's going to try to rap to her the entire car ride.
Oh, maybe the cat's in love with Sunny. And it's like, this is the best way to convince her to not date Parappa is to actually have her spend time with Parappa.
One-on-one time with Parappa is just, like, fatal to a relationship.
You know, after, 30 minutes of dragging this game, I actually had quite a bit of fun playing Parappa the Rapper. I had fun back in the day playing Parappa the Rapper, and it's still really fun to look at Parappa the Rapper. The way they use the 2D characters, you know, twisting and dancing in the very cartoony 3D stage that they set up. It's got good music. Parappa is the biggest drawback because I don't know if they did not have the technology to, like, stitch words together dynamically. Yeah. So it would make Parappa not sound like a complete idiot when he's like, kick punch, twist. Rhythmically, it has been left behind by people who took the lessons of Parappa the Rapper and have made better rhythm games.
Yeah.
So it hurts in that department, but the fact that it is this insane psychedelic trip through, I'm gonna guess, the craziest Japanese man in all of Japan who was given money to make a video game.
There's a legitimate question. Is this game weirder than Katamari Damacy?
Oh. Wow.
Because, you know, when you talk about, like, weird Japanese games that you're kind of surprised they came out here because of how weird they are.
Katamari's weirdness almost seems like it was workshopped. Like, they knew that they were making something bizarre. This just seems like everyone was like, dude, what in the hell did you make? And he's like, Parappa the Rapper. And they're like, what is this?
They're like, what? What about this isn't normal? Kind of one of the things to, you know, we didn't really touch on, but it's worth noting is that Parappa isn't just weird in the stages, or it's not just weird because it has a rapping dog and a flower girlfriend. Like, everything about this game is weird. The loading screens are weird. The sound effects are weird. There's just like a rubber duck quack that's going on constantly in the background of loading screens for no good reason at all.
It's really, if someone has never played Parappa the Rapper and they're listening to us, we are not doing you justice by explaining what's going on, because it is near impossible to explain. The visuals of this game are 100% weird all the time. Like, when Parappa is driving, he drives up a hill, flies off the road, and does like a 360 in the car and vanishes back down into the background, and then comes driving just fine over the hill. And no one in the car is like crying because of what just happened and a near-death experience. They're like, yo, that's pretty cool, Parappa. I mean, I doubt the bear would even notice what happened. I have beef with the bear, and I don't know why.
The bear should have his own game, or like be a playable character for like after you beat the game, you get to play as the bear.
And all his raps are just drool, 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 drool. I think the karate master would just snap his neck and save you the pain of trying to rap with the bear. It's still fun to play in its own way. I wouldn't say it's aged terribly well, but it's still fun to look at. My kids were really into the visuals of this game.
There's some aspects of the design that aren't quite ideal. One of it is that to pass a stage, you have to finish with a rating of you rapping good, which is the highest rank that you can get without doing a bunch of bonus stuff. And if you miss a line, you go down like half a ranking. And you could nail an entire song perfectly, miss the last two lines, and fail the level. You know, it's just kind of like what you do at the end matters a heck of a lot more than what you do throughout the stage. The highest possible score you can get without doing bonuses is also like the minimum passing grade. Makes it kind of tough.
It would be like in Guitar Hero or Rock Band if the crowd started booing at you when you were sitting at 90% accuracy.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I don't know what they were thinking, but younger me, it took a long time just to progress from stage 1 to stage 2. I'm not someone who gets mad at video games, but I can recall many a time me sitting in the basement playing Parappa the Rapper, just squeezing the PlayStation control so hard I could hear the plastic like creaking in my hands. I'm like, I missed it by just one at the very last moment.
Yeah, like I missed the last word of the last line, and it dropped me to like halfway in between you rapping bad and you rapping good.
So it's player unfriendly in that way. I know it just came out on PS4.
Yeah.
I don't know if they tweaked that a little, because I imagine people in this day and age playing it would be like, oh no, I have other options that are far superior to this. I'm moving on. It was a fun game in 97. I want to love Parappa the Rapper a lot. It's got a lot going for it, but I don't think if you didn't play it in 97 when it first came out and it was innovative, it just seems like a poorly rapping dinosaur. You go to the museum and you're like, oh man, this Tyrannosaurus Rex's beats suck.
Can't flow at all. This game was really, for its time, not only was it one of, if not the first rhythm game, it was also just weird games like this just didn't come out back then. There was a whole slew of titles that came out in Japan that just stayed in Japan because people didn't think they would sell here. And Parappa was kind of a breakthrough in that way, that they're like, well, let's try it with this. And when it worked, they're like, oh, maybe we can bring out some other weird stuff. So, you know, in terms of our Fall 97 tribute, this one kind of got in, not because it's a great game. It's pretty good game, but because it's so unlike anything else that was around at the time.
Parappa got a sequel, and then Parappa got a spin-off.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. A fair number of rhythm games came out after that. You had Bust a Groove, which was kind of like a dance game, but you didn't actually... It wasn't like DDR. Like, you still were just, like, pushing buttons on your controller, but, like, your little on-screen avatar would dance for you.
Parappa. It's hard to categorize in this day and age, I think is what we're trying to say. It's a freaky trip through someone's very wild imagination where dogs and flowers rap are sentient, and chickens will devour their own young to make a seafood cake. That frog's pretty cool, though.
You know, the weird thing about it is, like, no one else in the game raps except for, like, Parappa and, like, people that he's learning stuff from. Maybe it's how knowledge is passed on in this world.
If you ain't rapping good, how you rapping?
Bad.
Yeah, most of the time I spent my time rapping bad. So we got 2 questions. 1, is this a drug-fueled trip for people who don't do drugs? I'm going to say yes, but we have nothing to test that against, even though we are renowned scientists of many studies. And is Parappa the poser kid who likes hip-hop and no one can stand?
Usually we ask if, you know, the lead character is the villain, but I think this time it's just, is Parappa annoying to be around? And I'm going to say absolutely. Like, Parappa is horrendous.
For all the stupid the bear is, I think I'd rather hang with the bear than Parappa. Because Parappa would probably try to rap about everything.
Could you imagine, like, going grocery shopping with Parappa, and he's, like, trying to come up with rhymes about, like, how we need to buy apples and, like, Tide? And it's just like, shut up.
So, Parappa the Rapper, one of our games of Fall 97. It's weird. And you know what? I think next week, since we talked about the rapping life, we should talk about capitalism. Like, the most hardcore capitalism in video games that I think I've ever seen. We're going to talk about Abe's Odyssey, something I played a lot of when it first came out. So I was like, this game, looking at EGM, it looked amazing. And I'm very stoked for next week. I think the only other game in our Fall 97 lineup that I'm insanely stoked for is Symphony of the Night.
I'm just trying to look up our lineup right now and see what's left. And, well, yeah, okay. After that, we've got Monster Rancher, which will be kind of fun. And then we got just a shotgun start of a whole bunch of different games that we didn't get to. So, 2 big ones coming up, though. Abe's Odyssey and Castlevania, and that's pretty exciting.
If you've been like, man, this has been kind of dull so far, you're in luck, because the big guns are coming out now. If you want to find out where to find us, I have inserted all that information in the show notes with links you can just click. It's super easy, super awesome. There's one for Facebook, Twitter, and email, so we don't have to go through this every week. We thank you for joining us. We hope you continue to you rapping good. I'm Donald, over there is Brad, and we will see you next week. Oh, but what did you just say?
Like, you know, like, what?
What the heck?